The best DJs, concerts, and what's trending.
Know it first
on Dance Confidential.
So over the past couple of weeks, we've had some big names on the show, but it doesn't get much bigger than this. One of the world's top DJs, it is the legendary Roger Sanchez. Welcome to Dance Confidential.
It's good to be here.
You have a reputation of being Mr. Nice. I was telling people I'm going to catch up with Roger Sanchez. All I hear is, oh, he's such a lovely guy.
Thank you.
Done what you've done. How have you been able to stay so normal and grounded?
I think one of the things is having a good attitude going into it. My parents were very much down-to-earth people. And one of the things they've always taught me is treat others the way you want to be treated. I've been through different stages in my career, from being like literally the underground, nobody knew about me, you know, trying to struggle and sending cassettes at that point in time to the club owners trying to get a mix, to being where I am now. So I've seen it from 0 to 100, and I know everything that goes in between. And what I realize is that at no stage are you better than anybody else, but what you can do is perfect your craft. And that's the thing. I'm very focused on the craft of what I do. So I try not to get the what I like to call the stupidity involved. And here's the other thing is, like, I've never done any sort of drugs or anything like that in my life. So my perception hasn't been skewed by and fueled by copious amounts of chemicals that can make you think weird thoughts.
How did you get your break? You know, you're sending cassettes, demos at the time. How did you get your big break?
Well, to be honest with you, I wound up doing a DIY thing, whereas back then, you know, when the promoters really weren't listening to you, I just went and promoted my own events. I literally started selling mixtapes on the streets, taking the money from the mixtapes that I sold on the streets and doing events, going out there, handing out flyers, creating a street team, and bringing in the crowd. So once you have a built-in crowd, then all of a sudden the clubs start paying attention to you.
I think the name has a ring to it, though, doesn't it? Roger Sanchez just sounds like it was written in the stars.
Do you know what the funny thing is? I'll be honest with you. You know, coming up, I didn't really think that name had a ring to it. I used to be known as Roger S. at one point in time in New York City. I just abbreviated my last name just so that I wouldn't color it in any way, just to kind of keep it really focused on the music. But what I noticed is, you know, just embracing my heritage, embracing my roots, and really allowing that to kind of filter through in what I do. The Roger Sanchez kind of, this is my name. People are like, so is that a stage name? I'm like, no, my parents gave me the name Roger, and my last name is Sanchez.
The thing I found incredible is if you go to the Bahamas, you go to Kyrgyzstan, you go anywhere, somebody who's maybe 15 to 40 to 70 knows your name, knows Roger Sanchez.
That's funny. Now, that's funny. I've been to a lot of places, and I think that having music that has kind of spanned the globe really, really helps.
Speaking of many places, you're on the road a lot. Ibiza is your second home. Why is Ibiza so special?
Well, when I first started coming over to Ibiza in the 90s, it was really the kind of the beginning of the era of dance music really infiltrating the island and becoming a major force there in terms of a draw for people. And what wound up happening is, beside the actual club culture, the island is beautiful. Spanish is my natural second language, so for me it was easy to communicate with everybody there. But then the vibe of different people from all over the world coming together and really being there united to have a great time on the dance floor, it kind of made it this nexus for dance music. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's such a strong draw, even to this day.
You're actually a qualified architect. Now, is there a creative connection from being an architect and being a DJ? Because they're both very creative, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I want to just kind of quantify that. I studied architecture for 5 years in college. I did an extra year. And then on the 5th year, I decided, let me take some time. Actually, 4 years. I was going into my 5th year, and I took some time off going into my 5th year from college. So I never actually took the architectural test, the test to have an architectural degree, so I can't call myself a qualified architect, but I did study it, and I did work as a draftsman in an architecture firm briefly. And I think the correlation between music and architecture is very direct. It's with architecture, you have to create a foundation, you have to make sure people can kind of move through space.
Growing up in Queens, did that kind of mold you? Because in New York, you're exposed to everything, aren't you?
Well, being a New Yorker means that you have so many different cultures that are really combined in one place. And I think the fact that Queens was predominantly kind of Latin and black, and you had the mixture of those different cultures, you know, everything from Jamaican to Dominican, which is where my family's from, and Puerto Rican and everything else. Then you had, you know, every different ethnicity from Russian to whatever it was. You'd come in contact with them. You'd eat their food and you'd hear their music. So all of this coming together really forms this interesting kind of meld of ideas that you can draw from.
I had Louis Vega on the show a couple of weeks ago, and you and him are like pioneers of dance music. How have you guys been able to keep going? Longevity?
For me, it's really about passion. I have a passion for what I do, and the idea of just kind of laying back and saying, well, I've done what I needed to do, let me just kind of kick back, never occurs to me. I constantly try to refine and upgrade and renew what it is that I do and what the influences are while maintaining my own core and identity.
We are talking to Roger Sanchez. We're going to play one of your tracks now, Lost on Dance FM.
Dance Confidential on Dance FM.